This is the part 2 of our lesson 6. So we have objectives of compensation policy. So we have the different objectives. Tulad nung diniscuss natin last time, sa part 1, sinasabi natin ng ibang mga kumpanya nag-o-offer sila ng certain compensation packages na mas mataas compared sa kanilang mga competitors. Or minsan din, pwedeng the same salary bracket din ng kanilang mga pasahod katulad ng mga competitors nila, pero nagbibigay sila ng additional incentives or mas maganda yung mga benefits at saka yung mga fringe benefits na pwedeng ibigay ng kumpanya compared sa kanilang mga kalaban. So ano mga dahilan bakit sila nag-o-offer ng mga ganitong mas magandang compensation packages compared sa kanilang mga competitors? Okay, so summarize na lang natin ito. Siyempre, pag mas maganda yung compensation package mo, ang probability na mas makakuha ka ng mas qualified na aplikante mas mataas. At the same time, mas nag-i-stay yung mga empleyado sa kumpanya kasi number 1, nasusustain yung kanilang mga pangangailangan. Dahil nagbibigay nga ng mas malaking pasahod yung inyong kumpanya. At the same time, yung mga incentive na meron, magaganda rin. So, nagkakaroon talaga ng loyalty at saka tumataas ang performance level ng mga empleyado pag ang kumpanya talaga ay mas nag-offer na mas magandang mga compensation packages. At the same time, nare-reward din yung mga empleyado. Kasi nga, alam nila na sila sa sarili nila, they are very competent. Tapos, matataas naman ang performance nila or star performers sila na tinatawag. So, kumbaga nababayaran naman yun ng sulit ng kumpanya sa kanila. Okay? So, in that way, nagiging mas happy or nagiging mas loyal ang mga empleyado na magstay sa kumpanya. Next, to summarize, compensation management is a synchronized practice that includes balancing the work-employee relation by facilitating monetary and non-monetary benefits for employees. Yun nga, tulad ng binanggit kanina, aside from the base salary, meron pa mga additional incentive or additional bonuses or fringe benefits na binibigay ang kumpanya. Importance of compensation management is a must for every business organization as it gives an employee a reason to stick to the company. So tulad ng binanggit kanina, syempre pag mas maganda yung compensation package ng company ninyo, mas nag-stay talaga ang mga empleyado, tsaka nagiging mas loyal sila, mas tumataas yung productivity level nila kasi nga maganda yung pasahod. An organization gains from a structured compensation management in the following ways. It tries to give proper refund to the employees for their contribution to the organization. Yan nga, kumbaga sulit or tinutumbasan ng kumpanya yung effort mo, yung skill mo, o yung talent mo by paying you additional incentive, additional bonuses, or mas maganda yung compensation package nga. It discovers a positive control on efficiency of employees and motivates them to perform better and to achieve specific standards. So kumbaga, sila yung motivated ng mga empleyado kasi nga malaki yung sweldo, binabayaran sila ng tama. So siyempre kung ikaw yung empleyado, mas happy ka. Mas binibigay mo yung talagang best mo, yung full potential mo para sa trabaho kasi alam mo, you are well compensated. Next, it creates a base for happiness and satisfaction of the workforce that limits the labor turnover and confers a stable organization. Ano ba yung turnover na yan? Ito yung madalas nagre-resign or umaalis yung mga empleyado, di ba? So number 1 reason naman talaga ng pagre-resign ng empleyado is number 1, mababa yung pasahod ng kumpanya. So kung ikaw ay maganda ang compensation packages mo, definitely ang mga empleyado ay mag-stay talaga o tatanda talaga sa inyong kumpanya. So yung labor turnover sa company nyo ay talagang mami-minimize. It enhances the job evaluation process, which in return help in setting up more realistic and achievable standards. So in terms of evaluation process, kasi nga alam mo makikita mo kaagad kung sino yung magagaling, di ba? Kasi nga they are well motivated, mas madaling mag-evaluate pag alam mo yung mga empleyado mo talagang top performers kaysa dun sa mga tamad, di ba? So hindi mo na makita talaga kung sino yung masipag among the tamad, parang ganon. Okay? Next, it is designed to abide with the various labor acts and does not result in conflicts between the employee union and the management. This creates a peaceful relationship between the employer and the employees. So, syempre, ang number 1 pinag-aawayan naman talaga ng mga employee union ay yung mga incentive or pera o mga pasahod na hindi na ibibigay ng tama o nabibigay na on time. So, kung ang kumpanya talaga maganda yung compensation package, definitely walang conflict talaga between the employers and the employees. Okay? Next, it excites an environment of morale, efficiency, and cooperation among the workers and ensures satisfaction to the workers. Okay, so ang bottom line lang naman talaga nito, happy and satisfied, saka motivated ang mga empleyado kapag talagang maganda yung compensation package ng inyong kumpanya. Next, we have types of compensation. We have direct and indirect compensation. So sa simpleng paliwanag, pag sinabi nating direct compensation, ito yung mismong bayad sa iyo, yung pinaka-base salary mo. Kung ikaw ay monthly, per hour, so yun ang iyong direct compensation, yung bayad sa iyo kung magkano yung sweldo mo. Okay? Kunwari, minimum wage ka. So kunwari 10,000, 12,000. So that would be a direct compensation. Okay? Yung indirect compensation naman, aside from the base salary na binibigay sa iyo, ito naman yung mga incentive na pwede mo matanggap sa kumpanya. Okay? Example of which, kunwari, may mga food stuff, yung libreng transportation, may pa-shuttle, okay? O kaya may mga recognition, rewards na binibigay sa inyo, promotion, okay? O kaya mga certificate, o kaya yung simpleng yung ma-appreciate lang ng boss mo yung ginawa mo. Okay ba? Minsan kasi hindi matutumbasan ng pera, yung alam mo napuri ka ng boss mo, nakita yung potential mo, nagalingan yung boss mo sa iyo, okay? Recognize yung opinion mo, yung talent mo, yung skill mo. Okay? So under indirect compensation. Okay? Next, components of compensation, you have wages and salary. So pareho lang naman base salary yan. So ang wages, ginagamit ito kung ikaw daw ay hourly rate. Okay? Per ora ang bayad mo, o kaya naman per piece. Okay? Yung salary naman, ito yung mga monthly, 15 katapusan ang sweldo. Okay? Allowances, aside from your sweldo, meron ding allowances na binibigay. Tulad sa ibang kumpanya, merong clothing allowance, transportation allowance, food allowance. Okay? Under allowances. Next, you have dearness allowance. Ito naman, dahil medyo imported or foreign author yung ating module. So sa Pilipinas, kung i-apply natin to, yung mga dearness allowance would be, pwede siyang katumbas ng COLA o yung cost of living allowance. Diba? Aside from the allowance na binibigay sa'yo, may additional pang binibigay ang kumpanya na COLA. Okay? Kumbaga, parang nakabase ito sa magkano ang ginagastos ng isang Pilipino sa isang araw. Okay? Parang ganun yung computation ng allowance na yan. Okay? Or kung may ibang kumpanya naman, nagbibigay ng ganitong house rent allowance, normally sa mga sa mga foreign company to na yung mga workers nila ay galing sa ibang bansa. So syempre pag sila ay kumuha ng mga empleyado coming from different countries, pagdating sa bansa nila, minsan ina-accommodate nila. Meron silang housing accommodation o yung house rent allowance na tinatawag. Okay? City compensatory allowance naman, ito naman pag ikaw ay nasa minsan sa mga public teachers, minsan meron silang allowance kay mayor, allowance kay congressman na binibigay, okay, under the city compensatory allowance. Okay, tapos we have transport allowance, o yung minsan pa-shuttle, meron shuttle na sumusundo sa inyo, parang pa-service, or mismong talagang transportation allowance na pwede mong i-reimburse, depende kung ano yung every month, reimburse yung mga nagastos mo during the course ng iyong pag-transport. Depende sa trabaho mo yan, under the transport allowance. Okay? Next, also you have incentive and performance base. Ito naman, aside from your base salary, aside from the binanggit na maraming allowances na yan, so nagbibigay din ng mga incentive or the performance-based pay. May ibang kumpanya, may tinatawag silang productivity bonus, diba? Based on evaluation, kung sino yung nakakuha ng medyo mataas na mga scores, diba? May additional incentive sila or bonus na tinatawag, or kung mga salesman, na-reach mo yung quota, so meron kang additional incentive or commission na tinatawag kung marami kang nabenta, so under commission base aside from the incentive, or mga gain sharing din kung ang kumpanya kumita ng mas malaki, so kung magkano ang kinita ng kumpanya, binibigay ng kumpanya sa kanyang mga empleyado as a form of dividend or gain sharing na tinatawag. Next, we have the fringe benefits. Yung fringe benefits naman, pag sabi mong fringe, ito yung mga small benefits na binibigay ng mga kumpanya. Okay? Example dito, yung mga health card, okay? Yung mga insurances, yan. Yun, pa-uniform daw, may libreng clothing allowance or uniform allowance. Okay ba? Or hospitalization, minsan kasama na yun sa kumpanya, yung yearly annual check-up na tinatawag. Okay? So under the fringe benefits. A great deal of attention has been directed to the development of compensation system that go beyond just money. We can say that all components of compensation management play a very important role in the life of an employee. So imagine mo, di ba, kung lahat ng binanggit nating mga incentives na to, mga fringe benefits and allowances ay binibigay ng kumpanya sa kanyang mga empleyado, di ba? Parang kung ikaw yung empleyado sa loob ng kumpanyang ganito, parang wala ka nang poproblemahin pa kasi lahat given na. May pa-transportation, may pa-food allowance, may pa-clothing allowance, di ba? May pa-travel, may additional incentive pag nakakota, pag nakabenta, di ba? So parang haya-hay na ang buhay ng mga empleyado pag talagang maganda yung compensation package ng isang kumpanya. Next, we have rewards and recognition. Siyempre, aside from the monetary, yung direct compensation, tsaka indirect compensation na binabanggit, importante rin sa empleyado yung tinatawag nating rewards and recognition. Nakakadagdag din to ng moral at saka ng loyalty, happiness and satisfaction ng empleyado pag talagang ikaw ay nare-recognize sa inyong kumpanya. Okay? Nakalagay daw dyan, if it is implemented effectively, it proves to be an efficient tool in encouraging the employees to create and bring business for the company. Recognizing the effort of employees and encouraging their morale results in increased productivity and decreased attrition rate. It is a documented fact that an encouraged and dedicated workforce can change the fate of a company, which is totoo yan. Diba? Pag ikaw ay talagang, alam mo yun, nare-rewards ka o nare-recognize ka tapos may karampatang reward, definitely talagang mas nagiging more productive ka, mataas ang motivation factor mo, yung moral din ng empleyado mataas, wala silang mga reklamo sa kumpanya, so nagiging mas happy yung environment ng isang organization just because of the rewards and recognition. Imaginein mo, di ba, nagtatrabaho ka, lahat na binigay mo na yung effort mo, tapos wala man lang kahit anong recognition, di ba? Ikaw yung nakaisip ng possible solution, magandang idea regarding sa product na ilalabas, di ba? Para tumaas ang benta, ikaw yung nakaisip ng mga strategy na ganyan, tapos wala man lang kahit konting recognition man lang ibigay sa'yo, di ba? Minsan nakakalungkot din. So, importante rin tong rewards and recognition. Next, we have types of reward. Reward system of a company should also be in alignment with its goal, objective, mission, and vision. On the basis of the job profile, both monetary and non-monetary rewards can motivate employees to contribute more to the organization. So, under the types of rewards, okay? Siyempre, ang pinaka-favorite natin lahat ay ang monetary rewards in the form of pera or kaya mga GC, di ba? O kaya yung mga cash bonuses, coupons, or yung mga GC, o kaya yung stock rewards, o yung dividend, etc. Under monetary rewards. Next, meron din tayong non-monetary rewards. Siyempre, aside from the pera, minsan hindi naman talaga pera ang binibigay ng kumpanya for the rewards. Minsan, nagbibigay sila ng mga non-monetary. So, anong mga example nito? Example, yung mga pwedeng appliances, diba? Pag nakabenta ka, naka-reach ka ng certain quota, instead of pera, bibigyan ka nila ng medyo magandang, kunwari, kitchen appliance package, diba? Yung mga ganon, or showcase na tinatawag, or pwede rin naman in the form of promotion, okay ba? O kaya naman, pina-travel ka, all expense paid under types of non-monetary rewards, okay? A mixture of monetary and non-monetary rewards works wonders and drive employees to act competently, continuously. A proper and efficient employee reward and recognition program creates harmonious relationship between employees and the employer. Diba? So, kumbaga, yung kumpanyang sobrang pagmamahal sa empleyado, ganun din naman ang gagawin ng empleyado sa kanila. Pag minamahal ka ng employer mo, definitely babalik mo rin sa kanila yon. Okay? Next, we have audit and evaluation. Auditing refers to a comprehensive method of objective and systematic evaluation of current practices, documentation and policies and procedure prevalent in the HR system of the company. An effective HR audit helps in recognizing the need for improvement and enhancement of the HR function. It also guides the company in maintaining compliance with ever-changing rules and regulations. So itong audit and evaluation na to, trabaho to ng HR na kailangan from time to time nagkakaroon sila ng auditing at saka evaluation. So ano yung ino-audit, ano yung ino-evaluate nila? Yung proseso na ginagawa nila, yung recruitment policy nila, yung yung dami ng mga na empleyadong natanggap nila o yung nagtatrabaho na sa kumpanya nila, ilan na dito yung nagtatagal, ilan na dito yung na-promote, ilan na dito yung nag-resign, ano yung mga reason ba't sila umaalis, kung may mga problema yung mga empleyado na to, ano yung mga factors, bakit hindi sila naging masaya at nag-stay sa kumpanya. So under auditing and evaluation lahat siya magaganap. So si HR ang gumagawa nito. Next, the entire process of HR auditing is broadly segmented into the following phases. So there are 4 phases. The first one, we have the pre-audit information. Under the pre-audit information, the HR engage a review of the company's policy, manuals, handbook, report, which act as a basis of working in the company. So under the pre-audit. So siyempre, re-reviewin niyo ulit kung ano yung mga certain policies na ginawa ng kumpanya ng mga nakaraang taon, yung mga employee handbooks, titinan din niya kung ano pa yung applicable or pwede pang i-edit o baka i-modify o tanggalin na or totally baguhin. Okay? Next, we have the on-site review. The next phase of an on-site review engages questionnaires, interviews, observation, informal discussions, surveys, or a combination of such method to get the necessary input from members of the company. So bilang HR, ito naman magbibigay ka naman ng mga interview, pwede ka mag-conduct ng interview sa mga empleyado, o kaya mga survey or questionnaire para in a way ma-assess mo din or ma-evaluate mo kung ano talaga yung totoong nangyayari o ano yung mga problemang meron sa loob ng isang kumpanya. Next, the third phase, we have the records review. The records review phase needs detailed scanning of present HR records, employee files, employee absenteeism, and turnover statistics, notices, compensation claims, performance assessment. So dito naman, tinitingnan mo naman dyan yung mga records sa mga employees. Sino yung madalas nag-absent, sino yung mga marami na nakakuha ng memo, sino naman dito yung na-promote na, tumaas ang sweldo, sino naman yung nag-resign, sino yung mga nag-awol, etc. under records review. Next, the final, syempre, is the audit report. On the basis of this analysis, the final audit report is compiled with the appropriate conclusion, summary, and recommendation, highlighting the strengths and weaknesses of the HR function along with the necessary development as needed. So mula doon sa mga different phases na yan, in a way, ma-assess ng HR kung ano yung mga areas na kailangan nila ng improve pa o kailangan i-modify nila or bigyan talaga nila ng focus at saka ng pansin. Okay? Or ano naman yung talagang strength nila na kailangan pa nilang i-maintain or kung kailangan pa nilang pagbutihin pa under the audit report. The first 3 phases include an extensive collection of quantitative as well as qualitative information. The method for collection of information is based upon the size of the target audience, availability of time, and type of data to be collected. So, in a way, mabivisualize natin talaga ang proseso ng selection process sa isang malaking organization ay talagang medyo mabusisi talaga. As an HR personnel, definitely ang lawak din ang scope ng duties and responsibility mo. Okay? So that's the end of our lesson 6. Okay, so good day everyone and thank you.